This is the Brave New Coin Crypto Conversation, hosted by Andy Pickering.
Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation, a Brave New Coin podcast where we talk to the people building the future in the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency space. My guests today are Cecil Pang. Cecil is the co-founder and CTO at Open Art Source, and we also have Klein, who is also co-founder at Open Art Source. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, Andy. Thank you.
So a bit of an interesting one today. Really fascinated to learn more about what Open Art Source is, and also the Arties, which is a series of cosmic robot NFTs, and they have a very important role to play in all of this. So I think we'll do the Arties first. But just before we even do that, I think we better get a little bit of an introduction from you both. You're both quite interesting characters from what I can see. So who wants to go first? Cecil, you're, do you want to go first? Please introduce yourself. Love to hear just a little bit about your background and introduction to, I suppose, blockchain.
Sure. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for having me here. Hi, everyone. I have been in the technology industry for a long time. Most recently focusing on the artificial intelligence space, especially application of artificial intelligence in the imaging space. And my involvement with Open Art Source and started, 2 years ago, roughly, a little bit more than 2 years ago. When IIan and I had a conversation on what can we do, what do we do in this new brave world of Web 3.0, blockchain, and all the exciting things that has been happening in the blockchain world. And I happen to be an artist, so we had a few conversations and exchange ideas on what we want to do, and eventually we decided that both of us wanted to do something in the art related or in the art world, and that's how we came up with the Open Art Source idea. IIan can tell you a little bit more about what Open Art Source is about, but that's how we started Open Art Source. Specifically on the technology side, where I am responsible for, we actually are a deep tech company. We do blockchain and AI, and especially we actually bridge the gap, and we actually apply AI to blockchain to enable really exciting features that up to now are not available to the art world. So again, IIan can tell you a bit more about the features and everything that Open Art Source do. And IIan is our CEO.
I'm very excited to let IIan loose. But just before we do, Cecil, I also saw that looking through your LinkedIn, you spent a lot of time, I think, working on HBO Go. Is it correct that you wrote a lot of the code for Amazon Prime and HBO Go?
Yes. So I actually I was the chief architect at HBO during the rollout of HBO Go. In fact, I actually was the chief architect when we worked on the first version of HBO Go, which was called something else and was only released in a small market in America. And eventually we worked on like the 2.0 of HBO, and that's what you are seeing today. Yes, I was there, and sure. I was part of the team.
Okay, well, I just mentioned that as a nice way to establish your tech credentials. But IIan, please jump in, introduce yourself. Please, what's the kind of, I guess, the high level overview, the vision for Open Art Source?
Yes, so just that you know that every time that I listen to Cecil, I'm shocked of how humble he is. And just that you know that as far as I am concerned and know, he is the person actually responsible for the architecture that connects HBO to Amazon Prime. And when you watch HBO on Amazon Prime, that's code that Cecil is responsible for, that's deployed everywhere, all over the world.
Very nice.
And now I want to talk about open art source. So, and again, Cecil being so humble and I would say non-dramatic. When Cecil is an artist, I came from a different kind of art background. I went to school for film and television and worked for that for more than 10 years. Excuse me. And when we decided that we want to do something in this new revolution of the web, we actually had a lot of talks about what we could do. And Cecil continued to say that we need to do something in the art market. And I continue to say, no way, I am not doing it. You're going to do it yourself because it's impossible to raise money. And there's a million simpler, easier things that we can do and cash out. And one day, Cecil told me, we're going to build the GitHub of art. And when he told me that, I actually understood what he wants to do and the power behind it. And I became the enabler of this dream in a way. So in GitHub, if you want anything in GitHub, everything is open. You can see, you know, what's good, what's not, what people are saying, how many bugs were fixed, how reactive the team is, etc. And in the art world, it's completely different. It's completely opaque. You can't know anything about anything. And you gotta have a lot of intermediaries to make a purchase or to do anything. And we said, let's make the art world like GitHub. Let's make everything transparent, everything open, let people see the data and let them react accordingly. And that's what we have been working on since then. And open art source has the technology to mint NFTs for physical art pieces and connect them to the blockchain and give artists that make physical art all the benefits and the attributes of the blockchain that right now is only available for digital art. And that's actually the biggest thing, I believe, in terms of moving the market that we're bringing in.
Fantastic. Okay, well, this sounds, yeah, quite intriguing, gentlemen. So excited to learn more as we go deeper into the podcast. I said that we'd kick off with the Arties, the Cosmic Robot Club, the collection of the Arties NFTs. So maybe we should do that as a kind of introductory starting point, because I believe these are minting, available for mint right now. They're on the Stacks blockchain. But yeah, so IIan, do you want to take it away? So what are the Arties?
Yes, so the Arties are the cutest robots, 3D robots that you'll ever meet in your life.
Yes.
And they were created by a very young artist named, excuse me, Spencer Terry. He invented them. And then he came to us because he knew us and showed it to us. And we decided that we want to make a collection and use the collection to raise money for open art source, raise the funds needed to launch the company. And if you think about collections, I'm sure that you spoke to other NFT collection makers, or so every collection brings something. It creates a club that you become a member in. So if you look at the Bored Apes Yacht Club, then all the apes are slightly bored. It doesn't matter what the expression is, if they're laughing or if they're unhappy or whatever it is, there's always this sense of boredom into them. And it's obvious because they live in a yacht club and they are one of the 1%ers, and nothing interests them, and they're never going to be interested because they have everything. And it's like an aspirational brand. You want to be like them. You want to be a 1%er. And it's really hard to be a 1%er because you need to buy a Ferrari or a Fendi bag or whatever. and it's expensive. But if you just buy a monkey and you put it as your PFP, you become part of the club, and you are, in a sense, a 1%er as being one of the Bored Ape Club. And if you look at, let's say, at the different collection, the Degen Knights, so the degenerate knights who love sport and they love to drink and fight in bars and be knights and be very testosterone laden, and every man wants to be that. Every man wants to, or maybe some women also, they love sport and they want to be a part of it, of this club. And then if you buy a Degen Knight, then you are part of it. So with the Arties, I have shown Arties to hundreds of people. All of them had the same reaction. They smiled. And it's an uncontrollable smile that you cannot stop. Because when you look at an Artie, it takes you to this kind of state of mind of being a child, of being very young, and let's say seeing Mickey Mouse for the same time. And you love it because it's Mickey Mouse and you can't resist it. And right now, when you look at an Artie, you are transported for a second to this state. And a lot of people actually want to stay in this state. They like it. And Arties are something that brings some light into their lives. And that's what the collection does. I don't think that Spencer meant to do it, but he's very talented and did it anyway. So we are bringing this aspirational type of NFT to our community.
And so listeners, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, these Artie robots sound quite intriguing, I'd like to check them out for myself. The website is simply arties.io, and Arties is spelled ARTIES. So if you go to arties.io, you can see most of the information there, including the minting instructions. I think minting is available for the next 4 days. Cost you 98 stacks. So this is this is on the Stacks blockchain. And also, if you go to shaderverse.com, you can see there's some more information on how Arties are the first augmented reality ready NFT released on the Stacks blockchain. And so kind of the AR functionality is that you can, it's that if you open it up on your mobile and view in space, you can put your Artie into whatever setting you want. And man, they really are 3D, very super cute robots, really. I suppose they are. And yeah, I like them. Arties, pretty cool, guys.
And if I just may add, they are very cute. They are highly likable, and that's great. We love them. But we also pack them with a lot of value, because we wanted people who invest in Arties, who actually support our project, to get the best chance possible to actually be able to cash out when they're ahead, when they can make money. So we did a few things with them. One thing that we did is that if you have an Artie, let's say if you buy an Artie now, then in Christmas, we're going to send you a 3D game-ready asset that you can deploy on the metaverse, and he can be your friend there. And if you keep your Artie for a year, you will get an Arfie. You will get a robot dog, which is a friend of your Artie, and is from the same type of Artie that you have. And that's a present from us to you. And then we intend to deploy our own token, open art token, and use on our platform. And if you have an Artie, when we deploy the token, if you don't sell your Artie, or if you own one, then you can get in on the private sale and get 10% off our token. And that's a really big reason to actually hold on to an Artie and use it to get this discount. And another thing that it does is that if you have an Artie, you don't pay any subscription fees on Open Art Source. You only pay the commission for the sale, and some Arties have rare traits in them that gives you various other benefits on the platform. So you can save money and trade more. There are 10 million artists, working artists in the world. There are about between 500 and 700,000 art dealers, galleries around the world. We believe that many of them will want to transact on open art source just because of the type of technology and the type of innovation we are bringing to the art market. There are only 11,111 artists. So we believe that many artists, many collectors, and many dealers will want to have an Artie just to be able to be more efficient on our platform, and they will want to buy it.
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a very cool idea. It's a nifty idea. So the Arties, they work just as, yeah, really cool looking, cute robot NFTs, but of course they have all this utility on the open source art platform as well. And look, if we start to talk more about open art source, then Cecil, the easiest way, and IIan has kind of alluded to this a bit already, but Cecil, you said that you yourself are kind of this interesting mix of a technologist, a coder, but also an artist. So in that context, maybe to begin with, tell us what you guys think is wrong, I suppose, with the kind of the current state of the art industry, and that's really, because that's the important context for NFTs and certainly for what you guys are doing with open art source, Cecil.
Sure. So not much. It's not like it is wrong, but I think it's more like it is constrained.
Yeah,
it's constrained to especially from new artists, young artists, emerging artists' point of view. I still remember that when I was going to the art school in New York City, the one thing that everyone talked about every day in class, out of class, in the cafes, is about how do we make it? How do we make it into the mainstream? How do we get gallery representation? And the cruel reality is that maybe 1 out of 10 would make it in, and the 90% or more would never make it into the mainstream art market, art business, and getting gallery representation. And that is especially true when the artists are not living and working in the big cities like New York or Berlin or London or Paris. So that was something that was known or has been known and accepted by artists, but it doesn't have to be this way. So for many years, I was trying to do something and say, what can I do as an artist and also a technologist, right? I have the skill. I'm trained to build systems, to build high-tech systems. What can I do? So finally, when I met up with IIan, I talked about what we could do. This has been in my mind for many years. So that's how we came up with open art source. What we do is this: we actually let artists from all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are physically. It doesn't matter where you locate. Doesn't matter what type of art you do. Doesn't matter whether you are just starting out or you have been around for many years. You made some sale. You are somewhat famous. But even that, still, every artist, even for those established artists, they accept that it is always hard to sell, to reach out to collectors, to fans, to the supporters. So open art source is about allowing any artist and every artist to be quote unquote represented, right? They don't need to be represented. They represent themselves on our platform and sell their work and reach out to the collectors. Specifically, we actually use NFT for that. Now, everyone knows about NFT today. When we started out a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, nobody knew about NFT. That's how early we started. But the thing about NFT is that when you talk about NFT today, it is all about digital. It's about digital files, digital art, like music, images, videos. Nobody does NFT for any kind of physical art. We do that. It is hard. There's a reason why nobody is doing that. Because think about it, right? When you create an NFT to represent the ownership of a painting, for example, then how do you make sure that the painting that you're talking about is actually the painting that is represented by the NFT? When I buy an NFT or when I buy a painting that is represented by NFT, how do I make sure? How do I know that the painting I receive is actually the real painting that is represented by the NFT? So we have the technology, which is artificial intelligence based, to bridge that gap between the physical world, the paintings, drawings, and alike, and the digital world of NFT and blockchain.
Yeah, so well, talk us through that then, Cecil. Give us I don't know. I mean, explain it however you want, but perhaps give us an example of how that would work. Say, I mean, choose an artist in a painting. I don't know, like how does what you're talking about help if I've got like a physical Andy Warhol piece and I'm not sure whether it's legit or not. How does your model with open art source solve that, I guess, provenance problem with NFTs?
Sure. So today, many artists sell their art as NFTs on OpenSea or Rarible or the Stacks NFT platform. So the way it works is for NFTs is that when someone buys an NFT, then the NFT will be the ownership of the NFT will be transferred from the wallet of the current owner to the buyer, to the crypto wallet of the buyer, and that's it. That's the end of the transaction. So you own the NFT, you own the digital file that is represented by the NFT. But then what if the NFT represents a painting? How does that work? The way it works is that on Open Art Source is that, let's say I'm the artist, I finish a painting and I mint an NFT for that painting. The way that I do it is I use my iPhone, right? Take a high definition picture of the painting and then mint an NFT using that picture. And then when I sell the painting on Open Art Source, when the NFT will be transferred from my wallet to the wallet of the buyer, and then I will need to send the painting to the buyer too. So when the buyer receives the painting and the NFT, how does he or she know that is I'm sending him the correct painting or the real one, not the fake one? Then what the buyer needs to do is to again take a picture of the painting, and then the Open Art Source artificial intelligence will actually tell you whether there's a real painting or not. Now it sounds trivial, but it's not. Think about that. The transaction may actually happen years, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years after the NFT was first minted by me, the artist. 10 years later, the painting exchanged hands the 5th time, and then the latest buyer can still take a picture of that painting, and then our AI will actually compare that to or with the original picture that I took 10 years ago, and then tell you the new buyer, yes, it's the real one, or no, the 9th owner sent you a fake one and decided to keep the real one. So our AI, can actually do that, automatically. So that's how it works from 5,000 feet. Of course, there are a lot of different kind of AI models involved, but we can actually do it at scale and automatically.
Fascinating. And well, IIan, how would this sort of work in the wild? You'd need to scale this out to I guess the wider art community and get as many artists, collectors, galleries, dealers, everyone on board. Is that sort of the eventual goal?
Yeah, it is. It sounds grand, but I don't think it is. I think we're going to do it. I met with hundreds of artists in the last few years, and they come from different age groups, different price points, different methodologies, different materials that they use. All of them, 100% of the artists want royalties for secondary and tertiary sales. So in the art market is about $65 billion a year right now. Excuse me. Most of the money is being made by good galleries and dealers who can smell a good artist, buy the art when it's cheap relatively, sell it a few years later when it appreciates. The artist makes almost nothing. On our system, if the art is being sold again on open outsource, the artist will get 5% every time, automatically, every time that the art is being sold. All the artists we met, 100% of them want the royalty. It will make a tremendous change in their finances and the way that they run the businesses. So I think that it's going to be easy for us to get artists. And for collectors, if you think for a second, what is the experience of collecting today? Let's say, Andy, that you have $1 million spare in the bank and you want to buy Picasso because you love Picasso and it's a good investment. So you go to New York, which is the center of trading in Picasso, and you go to a Picasso style gallery and you tell them, here's $1 million, I want to buy this guy. And they're going to tell you, Andy, who are you and who's your family and what do you do? Oh, you have a podcast. Okay. So how much money do you have in the bank? And do you have a collection? What do you have in your collection? What did you buy this year? Did you sell anything? And if you answer any of those questions wrong, and most people have to, they're not going to sell to you. It's not because they don't want your $1 million, they do want it, but they're afraid that tomorrow you're going to lose half of your money and you need to sell the Picasso for less. That will hurt the market. So the market is being shut down to most retail investors and is being kept for the super rich and super famous. So let's assume even if they sold you managed to get a sale out of those guys, and 5 years later, it's not $1 million, it's $6 million. You want to sell it, you want to cash out. Nobody will buy it from you because nobody will believe it's the real thing. You will have to sell it at the gallery, probably the same gallery that you bought it from, and they will take 50%, 50% of the proceeds. So even if you made some money, it's much less than you could have. And we say, no, we're going to give this proof of ownership and proof of authenticity from the blockchain to collectors, and people will know that having the painting and the NFT in your wallet is proof enough that it is correct, it is the original, and that you are the owner. And then if you continue selling on the blockchain, this proof of authenticity will stay and will move from collector to collectors, and collectors will refuse to buy art that doesn't have the NFT authentication with it. And that's how we're going to get that market. And excuse me, for galleries, I mean, if you look at data about the art market, young people don't go to galleries anymore. They don't have a relationship with dealers. They don't buy at galleries. They buy everything online, a lot on the phones. And if galleries are not going to go to the blockchain where young people are actually transacting, they're going to lose everything. So they need an onboard ramp to the blockchain, and open outsource is going to be then onboard ramp. There's no way that any gallery or auction house will develop the technology that Cecil and his team developed. There's just no way they will do that. But we can work with them and sustain their business and make it even bigger just by allowing them to use our technology to continue to have a market.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's, yeah, I mean, the cool thing about blockchain when it comes to art is, the blockchain is just so good at being able to verify that authenticity, but also with smart contracts, just enable, ongoing royalty splits to, it could be the gallery, could be the mostly the artist or whoever you want, in perpetuity, which is a little bit of a game changer, really. I think as more and more artists figure that out. But time to go for a break. Time to go to a break, gentlemen, and then we'll come back. We'll have some fun. We'll talk more about the Arties NFTs, and we'll do the very famous crypto conversation hot take round.
In today's crypto market, the team at Brave New Coin are the sector's leading builders of custom crypto indices. BNC's powerful indexing engine draws on Brave New Coin's premium data to calculate high-frequency intraday and end-of-day indices for a wide range of index products. BNC's custom indices help you to gain exposure to the crypto assets class and track your performance against the market without having to become a stock picker. Not sure what you need? A Brave New Coin consultant can help you assess your requirements. Contact BNC today to find out more.
All right, we're back, and I'm with Cecil Pang, co-founder at Open Art Source, and Klein, also co-founder at Open Art Source. And don't forget that, if you want to see the Arties, the NFTs that we've talked about a little bit during the show, very cool, cute 3D AR art robots, really, easiest way to describe them, and on the Stacks blockchain. It's funny that I just had a Trevor from Stacks on the show 2 episodes, and we talked a little bit about Crashpunks, which is another upcoming NFT project on Stacks. And so sort of in preparation for doing this, I was surprised. There's quite a big NFT community already on Stacks. There's multiple NFT projects. There's marketplaces. It's all happening, right, guys?
Yes, definitely. And I think that we were part of the first cohort of startups at the Stacks Accelerator. And I think that Trevor and his team chose companies from 2 verticals. They chose DeFi and they chose NFTs because they knew that those are the hottest verticals out there. And just like with the Arties, that within a few days we had 1,500 transactions on the chain, and we had numerous new wallets being downloaded that people who never had Stacks before. I think by supporting and growing projects like us or Crashpunks or Cecil, they were able to bring a lot of new, young, excited users to the platform, and people who really love Bitcoin and are Bitcoin fanatics actually have a way to play with smart contracts and make investments and do all the things that only people on Ethereum got to do up to now. So I think they did a really good job doing that.
That's exactly right, IIan, and listeners, that's a great point, and that's really what my podcast with Trevor was all about, which is Stacks is effectively enabling Bitcoin to be programmable, so you can launch DeFi applications, NFT collections. All of that is available on Bitcoin through Stacks, which used to be Blockstack, if you needed that context. But anyway, gentlemen, look, I like to finish each podcast with a quick round of rapid-fire crypto conversation hot takes. Are you up for it?
Let's do it.
All right. So since we've got 2 of you, we'll go 1 for 1. Just rapid-fire, quick answers, gentlemen. Bit of fun. IIan, we'll start with you. Where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-coin opportunist spectrum?
So I own Bitcoin.
Good.
And I got it at a good price, let's put it this way. So I want Bitcoin to succeed.
Yes.
But I am, maybe unfortunately for this podcast, blockchain agnostic.
Yeah.
I will use the blockchain that will serve Open Art Source the best.
I think that is it's pragmatic, it's sensible, no problem with that. Cecil, what would you say is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
Wow. I'm a technologist. So I am somewhat pragmatic and also I want things to work. I am very, very excited about all the new things happening on blockchain. So I'm guilty that, more often than I should, I actually take risks and use things and do things that are not quite ready, but has a huge potential. So I don't know whether that counts or not.
Makes sense. IIan, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So look, whatever you like here, NFTs, art, blockchain, Bitcoin even, Stacks, the mashup of it all. What does it look like in 10 years' time?
In 10 years, everything is going to be an NFT.
Cannot argue with that. And look, sci-fi author William Gibson said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. It's a famous quote. Cecil, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people just aren't really aware of it?
I do think that what it looks in 10 years is totally different than what it is today. And none of us can imagine what it is in 10 years. But there are some hints. And the first hint is that many things happens in some form of blockchain, and the interaction of blockchain is not how it works today, right? So in 10 years, we will be able to not using any physical devices, and then have a quote-unquote transaction on blockchain, and then the result of the transaction will get back to us in some form that is not imaginable today.
Very nice. I like that. All right. Time to wrap this up, gentlemen. Let's close it out with the final question, which of course is, we'll do this with both of you. Let's start with you, IIan. What is your favorite science fiction book, a film, a show, or universe?
Wow, that's very hard because I'm an avid reader and I read a lot and I love many things. I think that the best science fiction movie for me is probably Blade Runner.
Yes.
I have seen this movie more than 10 times and I can repeat scenes without even thinking. And I think that this is definitely one of the masterpieces of cinema to stay for a long time. I really like books by, I forgot the name of the author now, but he invented the word cyberpunk.
By William Gibson.
Yeah, it's actually him. Yeah, sorry. I mean, my brain didn't work for a second. Yeah, so I read all of his books, and
yes.
I think that it is amazing how many things that he wrote 20 years ago already are happening now, and they're normal. So when I look at those books again, when I take a short read, I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to happen, maybe even in my lifetime.
Yeah, hard to disagree there. And Cecil, how about yourself? Do you have a fave piece of sci-fi?
Yes, definitely. Back to the Future.
Ah, brilliant.
Back to the Future. So many of the scenes that it was like 3 decades ago, but so many of the scenes that were sci-fi back then is happening every day, like Apple Watch.
Yes, yeah, and look, we just about have hoverboards as well. We have hoverboard NFTs, certainly.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
And I want to mention this book called Hyperspace by Michio Kaku, a Japanese author that I read 30 years ago, 20, maybe 25. And a lot of things that I mentioned there about how many dimensions are there in this world. And think about what we do today, metaverse. So this guy mentioned a lot of things that are actually happening today, 30 years ago. And the book is called Hyperspace, and the author is Michio Kaku, K-A-K-U. And I like it so much that I started my first company, and I called it 10-Dimension Technologies, because the author said that there are 10 dimensions in this world. or 11.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds like a good book then, Cecil. I might look that up and perhaps even put a link in the podcast show notes. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, gentlemen. This has been very good fun, actually. Have enjoyed learning more about what you guys are building with Open Art Source and, of course, the Arties NFTs. So I'll put links to all the Arties platforms and Open Art Source in the show notes as well. So nothing else to do really except to hand the metaphorical microphone back to you guys. We'll start with you, IIan. Just take us out, tell the people where they should go to learn more about Open Art Source, or where they should go to Mint and Artie if they would like to do so.
Of course. So the ultimate place to learn about Open Art Source is openartsource.io. The ultimate place to learn about Arties is arties.io. And the best place to get an Artie at the best price right now is on Stacks NFT /collections/Arties. And I'm going to send you, Andy, the links. You can put it in the show notes. We have a reveal on Monday. We're going to have a reveal party, and I'll shoot you the link when we have it also, if you can put it in the notes. We would love all of you to please consider getting one and participate in the party and show us what you got, because anything that you got is amazing. All the artists are incredible.
Fantastic. And Cecil, take us out. Final words, my man.
Open Art Source. Support us, support the art world, and make a difference.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All the best, and bye for now.
Thank you so much, Andy. We appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Andy.
All right. There you go. That was an interesting one. Cecil and IIan from Open Art Source. And yeah, it's just kind of coincidental that I kind of hooked up with these different projects building on Stacks, and hopefully still, I talked about it during the Trevor podcast, hoping to do a podcast with Grace from Crashpunks, which of course is the NFT collection based on Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson, but it's also on Stacks, as are the Arties, which are the cool robots, and they are cool robots, also on Stacks. So yeah, if you're an NFT collector, you got to keep stacking them NFTs, stack them on Stacks or on ETH, wherever you get your NFTs, I suppose. All right. Thanks, everyone. We better leave it there. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the Crypto Conversation so you know when each new episode drops. If you want to get at me on Twitter at AndyPickeringNZ, or drop me an email, andy@bravenewcoin.com. But yeah, that's us. See you real soon. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave a New Coin. See ya.